It is that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to review Black Ops 7 and give you my honest thoughts on this game. This is going to be very simple. We're going to go over each section of the game: campaign, multiplayer, zombies, Warzone, and a little bit of the future of this game. We'll go over the good, we'll go over the bad, and then I'm going to give a final rating and decide and kind of tell you, should you buy this game or not? So let's dive in. All right, folks, well, we're going to open this up on the campaign. And if you've been around this channel for just a couple days, you probably saw my review of the campaign and maybe even saw me play it live, which I lasted about an hour. Yeah, it's not very good, guys. It's probably, you know what? It's not probably. It is the worst Call of Duty campaign of all time. It absolutely craps on the Black Ops franchise, and somehow it's worse than MW3. If you guys managed to spray that MW3, not the old one, the new one, it's worse than that, which is insane to me. Just to spitball a few things here, there's really no pausing. Actually, there is no pausing. You're always online, so you can't just like take a break. There's like not really any checkpoints, so if you die, you have to reset. If you like were to lose power in the middle of a mission, you're heading back to the beginning. And obviously they made this in a co-op style setting, so you know, maybe they were leaning towards you had buddies to play it, and I could have easily done that, but I'm always kind of a guy that likes to play the campaign solo. Even, you know, the World at Wars and BO3 that had co-op before, and I don't think that they were prepared for that, because all your teammates are in the cutscenes and they're in the voiceover lines, but they're not actually there inside. So like if you don't have 3 buddies or 2 buddies, it's not like it fills it with a bot teammate and they're like Harper. There's just nobody there. So you're Mason, you're walking around and, you know, Harper says, go do this. And you're looking around like, where's Harper? He ain't there. So they put it too, like they made it too based on co-op. And obviously the elephant in the room here, just the shocking amount of boss fights and the shocking amount of just, I don't even know what you call that. Is that Elden Ring COD edition? You know, Menendez was the first one, and you're trying to defeat him by picking up a machete kill streak, and it's going down on him, and as he dies, he just goes up in smoke and like goes, and you're like, what was that? What just happened? So already you're starting off in this weird format, and there's no explanation, because like I said in the previous review, the story for me, I didn't get any cutscenes. So my initial game, I had no idea what was going on. How the heck was Menendez back? And then you get thrown into doing all this stuff. It's just it's just waves of people. It's like a zombies waves of people. And then once you get to the final boss, you have a boss fight. So it's every mission feels the exact same to me. And then you get to the one where you're chasing woods in the containers and you're shooting this like limbs off of plants, like it's poison ivy. And then you get to woods and he becomes a massive plant. Again, I'm not making this up. This is exactly what happened. I know it sounds like I'm crazy. I've got no voice. It's insane, but that's what happened. And so you defeat Woods. He's like the medium-sized boss in this game. And then by the end, you get to Harper, which has become the meme of everybody here. And it's just sad to me. It really is. It's sad to me because part of what made Call of Duty so great back in the day was the element of the campaign and the storytelling that is spread throughout the game. You know, I can think of Black Ops 1 where the campaign really affects the rest of the game. You know, you dive right in and you're in a chair and you're figuring out who's in the window. And if you hit start campaign, it's right off of that. If you build right off of that and you start in the chair in the campaign, I believe. Well, the first mission is Woods, but like you're still in the chair in part of the campaign. That was when Call of Duty was great. There was great storytelling, there was great characters, and the multiplayer was based around campaign. They got to get back to that vibe. They got to get back. I mean, so many memes and so many like iconic things you remember are from Call of Duty campaigns. I know people say, oh, we don't play the campaign anymore, nobody plays it. I disagree. I think a lot more people play it than you think. And when you crap on this mode, it's kind of offensive to a lot of people, including myself. Like, I was very disappointed to play that because I always look forward to playing the campaign right away. First things first. And here's the thing. I can tell that they're not proud of it either. So if you didn't know, there's a brand new end game, and this is like their, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's kind of DMZ-ish, where you kind of do these little challenges and extract with stuff. And this was at the end after you beat campaign. And it was kind of like a, not a paywall, but they had something behind it where you had to beat it. Well, the update today, I think, or tomorrow, is actually putting endgame available to everybody. So endgame is no longer required to be beaten. The campaign doesn't have to be beaten to play endgame, which shows you that they know that that product is so bad that nobody's going to play it to get to their endgame product, because I'm sure they have some sort of monetization strategy with endgame coming up soon. So with all that to say, I mean, this really gets the game off at a terrible start, because there's a lot of people that still play campaigns. There's a lot of people that think that that's part of the money that they're spending is to get a fun campaign to play. And when they don't get it, it's kind of a slap in the face. And so this one here is just absolutely like, I gave it a 1 out of 10 on my campaign review. A 1 out of 10. I mean, you got to be terrible to give a 1 out of 10. So they need to return to what they were doing even just a couple years ago. Modern Warfare 19 was a really good campaign. Cold War was a really good campaign. I'm not asking for the golden age. I'm asking for 4 or 5 years ago. Let's get back to a story, linear, a couple choices, and that's it. Like, I don't think it requires, like, look at Adler. Adler's become iconic. He was in one Call of Duty game before BO6. Make a good story. And this game does not have a good story. Ugh. Hey guys, just a quick interruption to the video. We did just drop some merch if you want to pick it up. Here's the look at the sweatshirt. One day or day one, and then the back, T-Dawg and the Black Ops style. Listen, if you want to support, feel free. If you don't worry about it. But it's going to be in the description down below. Back to the video. All right, so next up we have multiplayer, and there's a lot to talk about in this section of the game here, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of things that happened that kind of changed prior to release because of a certain game, but let's talk about it. Now, multiplayer is kind of my bread and butter when it comes to this channel's content, and I really, really enjoy multiplayer still in a world that feels like it's extraction shooters or battle royale. I still enjoy getting on, playing some free-for-all and some search and destroy, and just kind of turning the brain off type of thing. So let's get this out of the way. I do think multiplayer is actually pretty good. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But I think it's pretty good. So let's go over a couple of the good things, and then we'll go over a couple of the bad things, and we'll discuss, you know, maybe like a rate. I feel like we need to do kind of rate every individual thing, and then we'll do a final rating at the end. So let's talk about, I guess the game's maps is something we could start with first of all. I got to give credit to Call of Duty. The last couple games for me, the maps have just not hit. Obviously, BO6, awful. MW3 was kind of cool because it was remasters, but they kind of got old quick, and they did some good things with DLC, but for these guys to give us, like, what is it, 12 or 13 brand new maps. Obviously we have Hijacked, Raid, and what's the last one here? I'm gonna forget it in the middle of this, and then we're gonna Panic and anyway, Express, that's what it was. So we got a bunch of new maps, and we have remasters, and honestly, I don't have a lot of complaints on the maps themselves. I feel like a lot of them are pretty solid. The biggest thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the remasters are done really, really well. I feel like Call of Duty has sometimes brought maps back in the past, and they've kind of just done it to do it, and it doesn't fit that theme, or it doesn't fit that game. You know, I think one, for example, is like Fringe with BO6. It doesn't fit the game. It's too fast. It's just too much. And This year, I feel like Raid, Express, and Hijack, I feel like they kind of play similar to what they did in BO2, despite a very cracked out movement and stuff like that. And they look great. I was always nervous that they're not going to put enough, you know, saturation or color in these things, and they did a great job. So the remasters are wonderful, very fun to play, and there's not too many of them where you're like, okay, this should have just been BO2 remastered. They gave us just 3, and then with the other maps, I enjoy them. There's not really a map right now. I mean, there's a couple, I would say 1 or 2 maps where I'm like, okay, that's not the greatest, but you always have that with Call of Duty. There's always a map where you're like, yeah, we're skipping this one. So the one I would say for that is the ice map. It's like all icy and snowy. There's the plane crash. That is not my favorite. The rest of them, when they pop up, I'm like, you know what? I don't hate these. I'm down to play them. I think there's a few that are actually going to be talked about in terms of like, okay, remember that map? That was actually a pretty good map. Whereas in like last year, I don't know if there's a single map that I would go, I'd like to see that come back. So BO7, finally, we got some new maps. That's a positive. Guns wise, I actually have been enjoying the guns as well. I feel like with BO6, there wasn't enough uniqueness to the guns. I feel like they all kind of were boring. And these, I feel like the M15, the M8, even some of the bad guns. I mean, MSMC is terrible, man. We got to talk about that. I guess in general, SMGs feel a little bit down bad because of how good the ARs are. But we got to do something about that MSMC, because we cannot have a BO2 sequel with the MSMC being bad. So guns are fun. The guns are fun to use. Seems to be a little bit more unique of a rotation. Whereas, you know, the previous games, it felt very one-sided gun, like Jackal PDW BO6. You go play that game now, it's still being used. So I would say guns are way better than last year. In terms of movement, I guess this is kind of going to go all over the place here, because I was going to do positive and negatives, but everything's got a little bit of a positive and everything's got a little bit of a negative to it in multiplayer. So movement is a very touchy subject. Now, obviously, they've said that they've toned down the Omni movement, and they've also, I guess, the slide slowed down. They got rid of tactical sprint, and I definitely think you can notice that. And obviously, they added a wall bounce. But I don't think it's as noticeable as everybody is saying. Like, I'm hearing people say, like, this movement is so much better than BO6. I don't see that much of a difference. I feel like it's definitely a little slower, but I think when you add that FOV component to the game, it always looks like you're flying around in this game. And I think the biggest thing about this game is we've gotten so used to sliding everywhere in Call of Duty. MW3 was very slide heavy, BO6 is very slide heavy, and BO7 is very slide heavy. All the greatest Call of Duties of all time are not slide heavy. Let's be honest. You know, the old school, it's guns up mentality. You can jump some corners. It's more about positioning than sliding around every corner and surprising the enemy. So I think they got to find a mix of the Omni movement with, like, settle it down even more. And I know that sounds crazy, it makes me sound old, but I think that's the biggest problem that I'm seeing online with the discussion. It's like, okay, there's just too much spamming of movement with Call of Duty nowadays. But don't go back to MW2. Do not do that. So there's obviously no SBMM or limited. It's definitely working. And I've seen people say, well, that's not my experience. Well, I wonder if it's the mode you're playing. Is kind of my thoughts on this, because I've seen a lot of people say or play domination and hardpoint. I gotta be honest with you, I don't think Dave from accounting is getting off his 9 to 5, coming home and playing hardpoint on BO7. I just don't see that. So you're playing a competitive mode and wondering why there's no casuals in it. I think casuals are playing TDM, free for all, and just like that mosh pit of like, hey, put me in whatever, I'm just clicking this button. And probably a lot of them are in that 20v20 mode where they're just driving around and farting around and doing whatever they're doing. They're just, it is what it is. So overall, I feel like the matchmaking is what they're telling us. But I have something to talk about later on in the video when I give you my final review about all that. So yeah, the negatives of this, I would, multiplayer wise, I'm gonna go, the sliding has become too much. We need to get rid of that. Also, the drone pods, that's wild. That's insane. Drone pods are, I don't know how that's the first field upgrade that you unlock. And we probably need to nerf the M15 a little bit. That gun is insanely good. Or do we go the other route where we buff everything? So keep M15 the same and then buff everything else. I don't hate that. So yeah, overall, multiplayer I think is a pretty good product this year. They've listened to what we've said. We'll talk about that again later in the video. They've listened to what we wanted, even though I think they might have been forced. And you know, they're working with us. It seems like content is planned for the future, and we get Nuketown again, guys. I'm gonna have a separate video for Nuketown, and we're gonna talk about that map and the playlists in general, the small mosh pit playlist, because I'm gonna see if they actually do it this year. I think they're going to, but that's a whole nother video separate. I think that's a whole nother discussion. So we'll save that for another time. But overall, if you like multiplayer, I think you will enjoy this. Now, if you're a very, very classic COD guy, you're probably tired of the movement meta. So I think we got to find a balance for the next Call of Duty. Don't go back to MW2, but keep a little bit of the movement and the content plan that we got happening here, and the listening to people and the listening to the community and the no SBMM. All that's got to stay. Multiple maps, new maps every year, 16 maps at launch. Guns are fun. I like this multiplayer product. I do. Okay, so now we're on to zombies, and this one will be a little bit quicker because zombies is definitely not my forte, and I don't want to act like I know what I'm doing, but I do want to give you my thoughts as more of a casual zombies guy. Just recently, the other day, just yesterday actually, I got together with Chopper, and we're going to do a video for you guys. It's a zombies, you know, we try to get the Easter egg done. It's actually a very fun video. We're getting it worked on right now. So I played for a good bit. We played for a good bit. So I have a decent amount of zombies. I've honestly probably played this zombies more than I have the last two, which is kind of insane to say because I used to be a big zombies guy, but it's just kind of faded for me. It feels like it lost the magic after maybe BO2 for me. I know that's gonna ruffle some feathers. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. So for me, we actually got to the Easter egg, and I was very impressed with this map. I really was. I have not been impressed with a zombies map in a long time, but to me, this almost felt like a taste of like every zombies, especially like BO2, BO3, BO4. Obviously they had the map that the entire time I kept telling Chopper, I said, this is buried. This is buried. And it was like Westwood or Eastwood or something like that. Absolutely loved that. The little Tessie truck was really cool to drive around, and you pack a punch on it. I don't know. I just felt like there was a lot of things. The BO3 had like a BO3 vibe. The music was great. The overall tone of the map was very, you know, now that they're in this dark ether story, I don't really know what's going on, but it actually kind of sucked me in a little bit. I'm like, okay, maybe I kind of want to figure out what's going on because of how good this map is. And so, and then the BO4 part of it, just, I don't know. I felt like there was something we did throughout the Easter egg. It was like he was like shooting a mirror or something like that. And it was very, very reminiscent of BO4. So I would say right now, zombies is definitely probably one of my favorite in a long time. Now, where I'm going to go into some criticism of this is, I think there was a missed opportunity. Even though it happened quickly, there was a new mode called Curse that is now out for everybody, but it did not launch at launch. So for everybody to get this mode, somebody had to complete the Easter egg and beat it, and then everybody got Cursed unlocked. Now, going into Black Ops 7, I was super duper excited for this mode. And the fact that I couldn't play it right away and stream it, and I had to wait for somebody to figure out the Easter egg, I just don't understand why that made sense. It really didn't to me. So I'm glad that they brought this curse mode in and just give it to us at launch. Same kind of thing with campaign with endgame. If endgame is this thing that you're really hyping up and showcasing, just let us play it at launch. We don't make us do something for it. Now, I know that's going to be again a little bit counter to what I would have probably said about old school COD, because like I did enjoy back in the day when World at War you had to beat the campaign and then you got zombies randomly, but I think it was just a different time. Like that wouldn't have been spoiled back in the day. The campaign was actually good. So it's like you can't really have that way of thinking sometimes when it just doesn't apply. So not being able to play that kind of hurt. And so when I did get access to it, I just was so sad because they brought plates back, guys. The plates are not only in the regular zombies, but they're in the classic curse mode, where curse is where you start with a pistol. And I don't know what we're doing with this plating mechanic. I didn't even mention it in campaign, but I believe I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure it was. But again, the Warzone fixation on every single mode in Call of Duty it's just kind of weird to me. It's like they haven't quite figured out how to break away from Warzone and just be like, hey, zombies is zombies. Curse mode is pistol. It's just your health bar, and when you die, you die. And I think that's kind of something that's holding back zombies. And it makes it fun. It's like it's a very good map. It's a very good vibe. Cursed is fun. And there's really not a lot of complaints. But when you have that Warzone thing just like infecting it just a little bit, you're like, man, this is so close to being perfect. But you just have that one thing that's just like, dang it, I hate that. And so overall, for me as an OG zombies guy, again, I'm saying I enjoyed this product. We just need to get rid of the plates. Get rid of plates. It doesn't need to be a thing. In campaign, in zombies, plates, Warzone. That's it. Simple as that. But I enjoyed it. Actually downloaded the soundtrack on my Spotify because there are some bangers on this zombies playlist. I was working out, listening to the music. I'm all in it, man. So maybe more zombies content. If you guys want to see more zombies content and you made it this far into the video, I am totally down. But let's keep it rolling. Good product this year. Get rid of the plates. All right, so next up is Warzone, and we're gonna quickly kind of go through Warzone, but also talk about what their future plans for this whole product. And for me, Warzone, I've said it multiple times on this channel, I feel like Warzone has hit a wall. Nobody really cares about it. We're still trying to play Verdansk in 2025. It just feels like it's missing some sort of innovation that it's just not getting. And the innovation I think that could have been here at launch would have been actually releasing Blackout. Now they've teased that this is coming in the spring, I believe, but I think that this was a dropping of the ball. And I don't know what developer wise, like have they just started working on this recently because Warzone's kind of in shambles, or has it been in the process for a while? But the fact that Blackout 2 would have brought this whole new dynamic to Battle Royale again. What made Blackout so good back in 2018, if you played it, was the one life thing, was the ability to pick up the guns and attachments and it not be so, hey, I'm gonna go get enough money to buy the meta and just run around with it and blah, 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 blah. Boring. That is boring. And the grapple gun and the wingsuit, all of this stuff was so fun to use, and the map that they had back in Blackout was great. The problem was it didn't get support. It wasn't free to play, and Warzone came out right after it, which blew up. So we've hit this spot where I think it's time to go back to the Blackout style. You know, the people that work 9 to 5s don't have the ability to rank up every single weapon, and they want to just get on, pick up the M15 off the ground, get some attachments for it, and then go and play a battle royale. That is how battle royale should be. And the one life thing is great too. I think what Battlefield has done so well too is your life definitely means more in that red sec. I've been playing a lot of it actually, by the way. It's very fun. Their storm is really cool where it just closes in slowly but surely. You can't do gas plays or anything like that. And I think it's made you value your life more because they have these little pods where you have to like reboot your teammate. It's very loud. It takes a little bit. And I just love how they've done battle royale. I think Call of Duty could mimic a lot of what they've done and with Blackout, like Blackout style with a little bit of what Battlefield has done. And I think it'll be a great battle royale. And I think they missed their chance to release it now. Now, of course, it's going to have this hop in March when there's not a lot going on. It's like Blackout's here. But in my opinion, with how bad the campaign was, I think they could have scrapped the campaign completely, put all those people on battle royale. And again, I don't know how all this works. I'm just kind of like, this is how it works in my head. So Call of Duty developers, if you think I'm wrong, shoot me a DM. But put all your people on Warzone and get that map ready and get that game ready. And the product would have been just like Black Ops 4. Hey guys, the campaign sucks. We know it. We're just gonna leave it out of here. So in place of that, we're gonna be doing multiplayer zombies in a brand new battle royale experience for you. And I think people would have been like, all right, Call of Duty's like, hey, we know we have a bad product. We're just gonna admit it, and we're gonna give you something to spice it up a little bit again. So overall, Blackout, I can't wait to see what they do with it. Warzone in its state now, there's nothing to talk about. There's no need to even discuss Warzone. We're all waiting for Blackout 2, whatever in the world they're going to call it. And I do think it was a missed opportunity not releasing it either day one or like season one or December. Like, needs to be in front of people's minds. But here we are. Okay, so we've went through every single mode in Black Ops 7. We talked about the good, we talked about the bad, and now it is time to give, I guess, my final rating. And when I was thinking about my score, I'm like, dude, there's no way this is going to be a meme for my score. But I'm like, ahead of time, I know this is everywhere, and I'm sorry, but I feel like this is a really good multiplayer. I think it's a really good zombies, but it is overshadowed by a just absolute awful campaign, so bad that it makes me cringe. And so when you add up all those together, like pretty good, extremely bad, I am, how do I do this? I'm literally at a 6. Let me put this in the middle, 6.5 or a 7. I'm in the 6 to 7 range for Black Ops 7. That's how I feel about it. If you're more of a multiplayer guy, you're going to lean towards 7 and Zombies 7. If you're a campaign guy and then you do like Zombies, you're probably going to lean towards a 6. So that brings us to that final question. And it's like, okay, that's a decent rating, I guess. Would you buy it? T-Dawg, would you buy it? And now you're coming to me as a Call of Duty guy, okay? I'm a fanboy. I know it. And everybody knows it. The internet knows it. But here's the thing. Obviously, the title of this video kind of gave my hand away at the beginning. And so right now, I feel like, and this might get me in trouble. This might get some comments. This might, whatever it's gonna do. I don't think it is worth it to buy this game yet. Now, I have reasons, and stay with me here. I don't think it's worth buying the game yet. Okay, yet is a very important word here. So I think to start off, 2 of the 3 things being good, it kind of hurts it, in my opinion. Like I said earlier, I think a lot of people play Call of Duty for the campaign, and I know it's a small portion, but if it's that bad and you're still charging $75 for it, I think that's kind of, it kind of is like, ugh. We used to get 3 phenomenal modes back in the day for $60. Campaign was amazing, multiplayer was amazing, and either Spec Ops or Zombies was amazing. So taking away one of these products and making it awful and not really giving us anything in return like a BO4 and still charging that $75, I think in this economy, and I don't mean to bring in all that kind of stuff, that talk, but people might not have that money to spend. People might not have $75 to just fork on over a game that, you know, it's not going to give them that full experience. And so I said it in the campaign review. You have, if you want to play Battle Royale, you're probably just going to download Battlefield right now. It's RedSec, it's free, it's pretty good. And then if you're into a multiplayer conversational game, you may just go play Arc Raiders because it's $40. And you can have a Battle Royale and a multiplayer game and spend $40. So I think that's a big portion right now. I would say wait for it to go on sale. Like, I really do think that. I think that this game, if it's a $50 price tag or a $55 price tag, I think that's good. I think that's worth it. Another thing is, I think we have to be very careful here with two things. One, content. There has been content promised for this game for the entire year. Like, they say they're gonna flood us with content. And listen, by season 1, by the looks of it, it looks like they're telling the truth. It looks like we're getting a bunch of maps and a bunch of guns and zombies and blah, 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 and endgame being available. And so that's good. But what about season 2? You know, what about season 2? Is season 2 the same thing? Or do they pull back a little bit and all of a sudden it's 2 maps and you're like, oh, okay, I thought we were going to get a bunch of content every season. And at that point, I would say, all right, well, they're kind of taking back what they said about content being flooded throughout the year. So I would watch that. So maybe let season 1 happen. Let season 1 happen, and where we start to get some rumors of what's coming in season 2. And that's like your December area, January area. And then you get a little Christmas money, and then you're like, all right, maybe I'll go buy the game at Christmas. And by then it'll be on sale as well. And then the last thing is the SBMM. I think it's, for me, I think it's working the way they intended it. I think it's been good. It's been great for the game. But we need to make sure that they also don't rug pull this. And there's been no talks of that, so I'm not accusing them of doing that. But let's say sales aren't that good and they go, oh, maybe it's the matchmaking. That's probably the problem. And then they pull back and they go, yeah, we brought back SBMM, guys. All you guys that are not very good, you can please play our game because you're going to be protected now. And if they do that, that's not good. So again, that was part of Battlefield. That was Battlefield coming in and helping out and putting pressure on them to do this. We cannot revert this because things are a little low right now. I mean, part of it is simple. It's Call of Duty fatigue. It's 2 Modern Warfares in a row. It's 2 Black Ops in a row. People that see it casually, they see kind of a similar main menu. They see the HQ. Everything kind of feels the same. It's Omni movement again. It's a Black Ops game. So you have that, and it kind of overshadows everything. And so my last thing would be, if you have Xbox, if you have PC, I would say if you're a COD guy, it might be worth it. $15 a month or whatever it is, or $20. I don't know what it is, guys. I really don't. I'm sorry. You know, that's like, it's kind of like a Blockbuster thing back in the day. You get the game, you try it out, and then you're like, all right, you know, maybe it is worth $50 when I want to get it. Or you just keep paying for Game Pass for a couple months, and by then you're 3 or 4 months into the cycle anyway. And by then a new Call of Duty's already getting hyped up anyway. So Game Pass, if you got it, definitely give the game a go. It's got a great multiplayer and a great zombies, like I said. So where does that put us? I mean, final verdict, a pretty solid COD. I think it's held back by fatigue of Black Ops. I think it's held back by a little bit of the movement. I think it's held back by the campaign getting absolutely memed. But for me, again, I'm a Call of Duty guy. I buy it every year, and maybe that's part of the problem. I get it. Somebody's gonna say that to me, like, you're part of the problem. You play Call of Duty, you buy it every year, and maybe you got a point. You know, maybe you got a point. Maybe I am part of the problem. But I also like to think that I'm also, you know, I'm giving my feedback, and I'm always constructive, but I like to give honest thoughts. So if you're a 9 to 5 guy, wait on it a month or two. And if you got Game Pass, I would recommend getting it. If you're a COD fanboy like me and you're a multiplayer and zombies person, I think you're going to enjoy it. So it might be worth, you know, spending a little money on it. Maybe trade some games in. So it's only 40 bucks. You guys see GameStop, you can trade in whatever you want. Go trade in a baseball bat or something and then maybe get it. I don't know. But that's it, guys. That's the review. This is longer than I thought it was going to be, but I think it's important to share what I think, especially before you use your own money. And I hope you enjoyed this review. Hopefully one day I get my voice back to normal. But we're going to be doing BO7 content, guys. We got a lot of fun ideas planned. So if you do enjoy that type of stuff and want to watch COD content from the new game to the old game, hit that subscribe button. And if you can, leave a like. It really helps out the video. Yeah, I think that's it. I think the rant's over. See you in the next one.